WC, it's Ron. Thanks for joining me. Hey, I got some recent finds lined up today. I don't have a whole lot of stuff to show, but I made a mega score yesterday, so I had to get together a video and show you what I got. So yeah, I went to the record store yesterday, and up on the wall I saw this album, and I wasn't familiar with it, but it looked very interesting, and they had $150 on it. So I went back home and I did my research and I found out what it was. So I hopped back in the truck and I jetted over there, and it was still there, and I grabbed it. Got $10 off on it, so it was under $150 out the door. So yeah, it's like pretty amazing find, and they're very rare. This band is not very well known up until about, except for people in the know, of course. This band was not that well known up until about last summer, when it was reissued on vinyl. And so since then, this band has gotten a lot of notoriety, and this is what it is. Midnight, Into the Night. And these guys were out of Illinois, Homewood, Illinois to be exact. And they released this soul album in early 1978. They recorded it themselves in the fall of '77. They were fresh out of high school. They were still teenagers. They'd formed in 1974, been playing together for a few years, so they became very proficient. Their heroes were Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, Uriah Heep, the big hard rock fans of the day. And this is a 4-star album. There's one track on the side one that's kind of weak. It's definitely kind of like filler material. It's called Crazy Little Mama. But other than that, this is a fantastic album. And there's one sort of psych ballad on here called Time Will Tell. It closes side one. And I've got this album on the turntable right now, as a matter of fact. And I was reading about the reissue, and they remastered it. So the sound is supposedly greatly improved over the original pressing. The original pressing doesn't sound too bad at all, but I guess the reissue is a vast improvement, so I'm going to have to pick that up. So anyway, I was doing some internet research, and I found an interview with the bass player from this band from when the album was reissued last year, and he was talking a little bit about the history of the band. Well, come to find out, they only pressed 500 copies of this album. 300 got sold in a local store. The other 200 were divvied up amongst the band members. The bass player, he kept about 50 copies or so. He ended up with 30. He sold some in the 90s. Some guy was paying him $100 to $200 a copy for sealed copies. He still had some sealed copies, which he gave to Drag City, who reissued the album. So they took those sealed copies and they put together the best remastering job they could do from those 3 copies. So yeah, it's a pretty amazing album. I'm so happy and thrilled to find it. So if you don't know this album, get it. It's called Midnight, Into the Night. Okay, this next one I got is the first album by The Jam, 1977. It's called In the City. And this is an early pressing, but it's not, I don't think it's the very first pressing, because it has a sticker on it with, I guess in the early 80s they went to a printed barcode, but this is actually a sticker on there. So I would date it probably around 79, maybe 80 at the latest. Really good album. Not totally not totally hard and ferocious like they were when I saw them live. I mean, when I saw them live, that was hard. That was hard and fast. Nothing like their first two albums. But a lot of great tracks on this, and I'm really glad that I picked that up. Okay, then I picked up this. I never thought I would see the day where I bought a Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons album, but I bought one. And it's this one, The Genuine Imitation of Life Gazette. And this is their Psych album, recorded in late 68, released early 69. And I picked this up real clean for a couple of dollars. I guess whoever priced it wasn't in the know, you know, and they figured, the Four Seasons, $2. Well, you know, it's not worth a ton of money, but they're not that easy to find, at least not out in the wild. Fortunately, I didn't get the newspaper insert that it came with, which is highly desirable. If you've ever seen any of that online or have a copy, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, this is just a really good album. It was critically acclaimed, but it was scorned by the fans of the band. I like it. Definitely really cool pop psych album, and it's not cheesy in any way at all. Very, very well done album. Then I got a mono copy of the Monkees. More of the Monkees in the shrink. And then I picked up another private pressing. It's a blues rock album, and this was only like $12. It's not worth a whole lot of money, but I got it for half what they go for anyway. And it's Brian Lee. Beauty Isn't Always Visual. And I didn't know who this guy was, but I guess he's a well-known bluesman. He's put out probably a dozen albums. This is his first album from 1979. It's out of Wisconsin, and he's put out about a dozen albums since this was released. He's well known in the blues circles. This is, you know, kind of middle of the road blues rock, but very good, and lots of hot guitar licks on it. I guess he's been blind since childhood, and he's got a nickname, the Braille Bluesman or something along that line. But yeah, I mean, pretty cool actually. I mean, private presses, I mean, they're only going to go up in value. And this one's pretty interesting. It's called Disco Blood by the Vamps. And let me get, there's like a little storyline on the back of it. This band is out of Brazil, or South American, and it's disco, but it's real predictable disco sound, but it's got a campy vocal storyline, you know, monsters, vampire, that sort of thing, and it's very sexual. There's one. As the record plays on, you hear the vampire and the girl, and they start having sex, and she starts moaning and all this stuff, and it continues for quite a long time. There is an album that this band put out that this is from. This is the 12-inch single. It's on Building Records, and there is an album that they released. It's on red vinyl, and those bring about $100 in near mint condition. This one isn't worth a whole lot of money, but it's worth a lot more than what I paid for it. Okay, now I got a few singles to show. This is a band called The Poor, and I have another single by them. This is a promo, and it's dated 3/67, and it's a one-sided promo, which is really unusual. It's got sort of it's got markings on the back, but it's blank, and you can't play the B-side. It's just a one-sided record. And there was somebody was in this band. He was in the I think he was in the Eagles. Meisner, Randy Meisner was supposedly in this band. Now that's hearsay from what I read online. That's not concrete, but pretty good garagey pop site, or not pop. Well, I wouldn't call it site. Pretty good garagey pop record. Okay, then this is a Record Store Day release from 2011. Inside the Workshop, parts 1 and 2, studio dialogue. It's just basically working on Crawling King Snake and Riders on the Storm. I need to play this, so I haven't played it yet. This is actually part of a box set, but I think it was sold individually too, because when I found it, it was priced as an individual record, and it was not used. So I'm thinking that these were also sold separately. 4,000 made of the box set. And I got this Link Ray Sunday's Record Store Day. 4 very rare sides on the Mala label. Really cool cover there. Really good raw Link Ray tracks. Pretty interesting on this one. He's Ray Vernon and the Raymond. And then Slope Records just put out another punk rock single that I picked up. It's they didn't have any releases back in the day. They were from Arizona. I think they were from Tucson, as it was recorded in Tucson. It's by a band called Useless Piece of Shit. And this was recorded in 1985. And it's a series of very short songs put together. I don't know why punk rock bands did that. Maybe Vinyl Richie can explain that to me, but yeah, it's just like really short little snippets of songs. It's pretty strange to me. And it's got a gatefold. And those are the tracks on the back. It came with the Slope sticker. No download card with this one. They usually have a download card. It comes on splatter vinyl. Comes with an inner sleeve. This was okay. It didn't thrill me all that much. But being an Arizona band, you know, I had to get it. Okay, that does it for the vinyl showing, and like I said, you know, I got a little special surprise that I'm gonna show a concert program, and it's Beat to Hell I've had it for quite a while. It's not a recent find. But this is kind of a short video, so I'm going to go ahead and throw this in here just as a little bonus. So what it is, it's a 1969 Jimi Hendrix concert program, Jimi Hendrix Experience, from their Electric Church tour, which was probably the last Experience tour. And I did some research on this years ago when I first got online, and this tour was pretty limited. Not that, probably less than 20 dates, and they did not play Arizona. This is from some other state. But yeah, it's beat to hell, but it's a Jimi Hendrix concert program, so you know, I can't complain too much about it. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that now.
loving